instead of going down to a different lake, I'm going back to the same lake I compared the iPhone 14 Pro Max to the 16 and take the same shots and then use those shots for this video. I apologize, that's just the way it happened. So there's another feature, if I have time, well I don't, I'll do it on the way back, is the audio mix, which is kind of exciting. Right, here's the lake, looks like there's a lot of people there, so I'll go to the front of it and do a couple of camera shots just to show you the 8x zoom and whatnot. Again, here with the Lost RVers with a iPhone 17 Pro Max phone test compared to the 16 Pro Max. Okay, here we are at the lake. Let me move this down here. As you can see, it's front and back recording, so I can point here, point there, point here, point there. I don't know how handy it will be, but it's kind of fun. Zoomed in on that house over there, and that's the landscape mode, 0.05. And then we'll pop it up to 0.1, 2 times. Now this is where it becomes different. Instead of having a 5x zoom, this is a 4x zoom. And then we'll go up to the 8x zoom. And then we'll go up to the 8x zoom. Excuse me, that's 6.2. This is 8. That's 8. Now what we'll do, 11, 13, 14. There's 15 times, 24 times. Now I'll compare that to the 16 that I have. It's still kind of pixelated, but hey, it's not a bad zoom. All right, now I'm gonna go back over to these mountains up here and just zoom on in like you would if you're just standing on the side of the road trying to catch something. Again, that's very pixelated. Right there. Give it a second to get all this. Then we're going to switch over to 30 frames per second. Again, I was at the 2.8. This is HD, so you get a better zoom in HD 30 than with the other settings. Yeah, much better. I don't think I have the stabilizer on, so let's try that again. That's 24 times digital. That's 4 times. That's 8 times. That's 2 times. 1 time. Full landscape. Okay, these next shots will be photo. High definition, 30 high definition. This is 60 frames high definition. It's 2.8, 24 frames, 0.8 resolution, 60 frames per second. Well, that's landscape. I'm going to turn off the picture-in-picture, unless you like to look at me, which is pretty cool. I guess you could have 2 things going on. You could have people talking in the background as you're watching the fireworks, or some sporting event or a concert, and see your reaction. Hey, 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 ooh. But for this purpose, I'm going to turn it off. That's 24 times digital. Now, last time I was here, there wasn't any water running over the spillway over there, so I'm just going to play around with that and just go in on it. Sorry, I still have the stabilizer on. That's landscape, 1 time. 2 times, 4 times, 8 times. Now let's go up digital. 24 zoom and on 24 frames per second. Put this on slow motion. This cinematic at 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. It's as far as you can go on the pixelation, 24 times zoom. Okay, I have this one on HD, high definition. Let's see if there's any difference. 5, that's 1, that's 2, that's 4, that's 8. And I'll pop it up to 24. And I'll crop it in and see how it looks later. So that anti-glare isn't the best still. The sun's right kind of over my right shoulder. It's very difficult to see the screen. But hey, 3,000 nits I guess is better than 2,000 nits. All right, then that's about all the pictures I need right now. I'll go back, put it on my computer and check it out. Again, this is front and back cameras recording at one time. It is kind of a novelty item, but hey, a lot of people like doing a lot of selfies, showing their faces. I'm not a big fan of it, but hey, you never know, it could come in handy. So let's get out of here and go on back. I'm gonna show you the audio editor, driving back with the windows down, and how well that audio editor filters out the air noise coming through the windows. So yeah, if you're an RVer and you do a lot of travel videos, you know, you can't get out and hike up every mountain, but it's always nice to have that little extra zoom to get close in on stuff. And so this is for RVers out there. If you're on the 14, 13 or lower, even the 15 and 16, you know, if you want these little gizmos, these little upgrades, it's worth getting, I think. I'll see it when I compare it to the 16 from last year. But and all this hair and all this mustache is for a Halloween gig that we're going to in Walker River Resort, where we decorate our trailers. I do a big light show and go as a sheriff because I don't really have time to get dressed up. Too much setup with the lights. And last year I had short hair and my mustache was trimmed down real low, and they all gave me hard times. So this year, as you can see with this picture-in-picture, I'm letting it grow out. Look like someone on Tombstone. I do also want to mention that they have a new thing on the iOS 26 where it allows you to really see all the different settings you need without fumbling around. This is what it looks like. Well, I just found out along with the exposure, when you're on cinematic, hit that button, it gives you the aperture. So you can open and close the aperture, which is kind of cool. Again, I'm not a cameraman. I'm just an RVer trying to do the best videos I can with what I have, which is a cell phone camera. Do a lot of windshield photography, and you don't have time to fumble around and try to find those settings like the exposure and changing the speed of the filming. They're right in your face. It's a big help. And of course, this little guy here, you can put it in either corner. I guess you can't put it in the center, but you can move it around to where you want. When you're doing a selfie, you can expand it out a little bit wider. It has a square sensor in it, and it allows you to kind of pop it out. So if you have more people in the shot, it expands the shot to a landscape mode compared to the vertical mode. It also has a longer battery life. We'll find out. I had it topped off. I don't think I'm using up too much battery, but just playing around with it, it seems to last quite a bit longer than the 16th for sure. And as far as the heating of it, you know, it's all fine and good to have an aluminum body, but when you put a case on it, it kind of defeats the purpose. The heat stays trapped inside either way. And when we go out and I'm doing these long, these long time lapses going down the freeway, we'll find out if indeed the overheating is abated. Find out. Oh, one other thing, you know, here's my analogy. The i17 phone being dented and scratched up. Watch this. Oh, doctor, oh, doctor, oh, doctor, 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 I got a headache. Well, what can you help me with? Right? He'll say, stop hitting yourself. Well, for those people saying, look at this getting scratched up, and they're using razor blades on the paint, and they're dropping it from 10 feet up, and they're smashing. Well, it's the same thing as doing this and then bitching about you have a headache all the time, right? Right. That's my lost RVer's analogy of the scratched up paint on the i17 ProMax. Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting your camera and you won't have those problems, I would assume. Yeah, this thing seems to have a lot of benefits to it, I guess. It is heavier. And when you put a big case on like I have, I'll show it to you. It covers the lens up. I like them, military strength. But it barely fits the tripod. It's a little bit wider. It's not too much bigger, longer, taller, but it is, you can tell the difference in the width of it. It's just a little bit bigger. But then again, you're getting the battery, so, you know, 6 one way, a half dozen the other. I'll take the half dozen. Sounds better than 6, right? I'm holding this in my hand just to get a different view of it. Looks like I'm overexposed. It does give you some pretty good zoom power. Let's go back over to these houses across the lake. '16 couldn't do that. Come all the way back down. All right, that's all I wanted to do. Just kind of get the hang of it, walk around, see how it feels. See how the shaking is, right? Across the lake, you got the mountains, you got a house up on the hill over there. So let's pretend I'm out here and I want to capture a house on a mountain. There it is. They're right into their bedroom window. All right. Another thing you have to watch out for on the 17 is that bump extends all the way across the camera. So getting your fingers in the way can become a hassle. So I have this mounted in my truck as if I'm going down the road. The house is up there. You get a pretty good zoom. It's not as much as I thought it would be, but compared to the 16, you can get in quite a bit just by showing you those houses. Which one was it? It was right over here. That one there. We'll check it out when we get back to the computer and I look at the other pictures. It's 23.1, that's 24 right there. That's as far in as you can get. All right, let's go do the sound check. All right, thanks for coming along. Let's go do that audio mix. Okay, again, picture in picture, you can see me drive. Yahoo, aren't you excited? I am. What else can I tell you about it? You know, you've heard everything. Every YouTube comparison shows the same AI-driven comparisons. This is real life. So let's just roll down the window. Biggest thing I found out was in the audio mix that does not work if you're in stereo or mono on your sound control in camera settings. You must be in spatial. That's something very important for you folks. You must set your sound to spatial or your audio edit app in the phone itself will not appear. It will not work. So let's say you're driving along and you're in the mountains and you're just taking video shots out the window and you want to bring it up, get rid of the hood. You're going to get wind noise. And as you can hear, you're probably hearing it now, you have the wind noise. So what I'll do is I'm going to do this. I'll shut it down and restart it. Okay, this is standard. This is what you're going to hear if you had no audio edit. Okay, this is in frame on the audio edit. So this is what you're going to hear. Same noise when you use in frame on the audio edit. This is called Studio. This is the audio effect you get when you edit it to Studio on the phone. And this is cinematic audio edit when you're using the audio editor on the phone. So each one has a different sound quality, and I'll leave that up to you to judge. Some of the best benefits are when they went up to the iOS 26.1, and the icons for the frame per second and the exposure, the flash, picture-in-picture, or what they call dual record, are all much larger now. So you hit the top left or the top right. Instead of having little icons come up and trying to push them and look at them, they come up fairly large or easy to get to. That's one of the best benefits of the iOS 26. And when you open up your phone, instead of having all of the different modes, cinematic, slow-mo, time-lapse, photo, and video, they only pop up two, photo and video. I like that because when you're going down the road and you're pushing buttons, sometimes I'll hit slow motion or I'll hit time-lapse by mistake or cinematic or whatever, and you don't really realize it until you get back and you start editing it down, and it's just a big hassle. Alright, this is the Lost Rvers. We're doing another test. We're going to go to a little town in the Sierras called Nevada City, wait for nightfall, and do some night photography and videoing. Except for the dirty windshield, you are going up to the Sierras. Look at the beautiful trees. Now I'm going to zoom in, pretending like I'm just doing an RV trip. See how that looks. That's 3 times right there. That's 2 times. And that's 1 time. And that's a landscape. This thing we want really close up on that tree, and we go all the way up to 24. Look at that. Very neat. Now, here's a hint that I found out when I was at the lake yesterday. That in order to have a clean shot, like look at that mountain range. In order to have a clean shot, you have to have that action mode on, for whatever reason. There's a cop right there. And up here, the bush, you can play with your phone. Well, I was in 2.8 resolution. I switched over to 4K. Much easier with the new iOS 29.1, is it? 26.1 iOS upgrade. It's much easier, much better. Congratulations, Apple. Okay, this is our exit. Man, those windshields dirty. But again, this is just to see how this phone reacts to all these little inconveniences. We'll be here until it gets dark. Well, here we are in downtown Nevada City, and I am just going to play with the phone. I'm in action mode, going up the hill. There's the church, there's the steeple. Open the door, there's all the people. So that's without the action mode, and that's with the action mode. Same settings, 0.5 landscape mode. So for whatever reason, when the action mode's on, you need a lot more light to record. second photo was with night mode on. First one was without it. Yeah, this is night mode with dual capture on. Like them apples. Hello, people. I can see you. Night in the cool of the evening. Look at the light. Uh-oh. You're with the Lost Rvers, downtown Nevada City, looking for night shots. Yeah, when you have the action mode on, you need a whole bunch of light for sure. With it off, you get better pictures at nighttime. What about a picture of a dress? Nice shot, huh? Walking down the dark sidewalk, uphill, stumbling along, singing the song, side by side. I shot the sheriff.
Oh, they sold a t-shirt.
Oh, hey.
Oh.
The crosswalk. Well, instead of walking up to the church up there, which I'll show you.
On the left side, G1 and
Yeah,
G2.
you can't really see
Thank
it.
you.
That's the church. We are going to go in and watch the Rocky Horror Picture Show because there's 2 seats available. That's what you do. Impromptu.
Then something went wrong for vacation.
I must put the interests of America first. America needs a full-time president and a full-time
There are those who say that life is an illusion.
Quick with fear, you tiny fools! It's something you'll get used to. A mental mind fuck can be made.
Called the human race. Lost in time. Lost in space.
And thus concludes Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Cowboy!
There's the star of the show. Even with the Lost Rvers on this weird Sunday night with the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Hope you enjoyed this video. Wait for our next video. We'll see you next time. Walker River Resort. RV road trip number 62. Thanks for watching. Remember, subscribe, like, and share.